baseball season turned out to be the last team standing. The Dodgers are your World Series champions. They beat the Rays 3-1 last night in Game 6 to close it out. Among the many storylines this morning, the ever-so-curious decision from Rays manager Kevin Cash to pull the very hot Blake Snell in the 6th inning. Had 9 Ks, just the 1 earned run. Dodgers obviously thrilled with the move. They quickly scored 2 runs, and selfishly, they never gave the lead back. After the game, Kevin Cash on his very curious decision.
Lineup the Dodgers feature is as potent as any team in the league. Personally, I felt Blake had done his job and then some. Mookie coming around for the 3rd time through. I value that. I totally respect and understand the questions that come with it. Blake gave us every opportunity to win. He was outstanding. They're not easy decisions. And that's where I came to the decision. I felt it was best after the guy got on base. Barnes hit the single. Didn't want Mookie or Seager seeing Blake a 3rd time.
I did everything I could to, prove my case to stay out there. And then for us to lose, it sucks.
I'm not the manager. I don't make decisions. Asking for my opinion though, I think it was Blake's game. He was dominating. I don't really care what the numbers say. 3rd time through the order or whatever. There wasn't many guys making contact in general, and no hard contact whatsoever. And I think we all wanted to see him go in there, or stay in there. But it's Cash and everyone they've been great this whole year with making decisions, and it didn't work out for us right there.
I was pretty happy because he was dominating us and we just weren't seeing him. So, once Austin got that hit, then they went to the pen. I think that Mookie looked at me with a little smile, and we were just all kind of excited that Snell was out of the game.
Look, Snell, by the way, hadn't gone 6 innings all season, so it is mildly understandable that you would think that's what Kevin Cash would do. But, Nick, did this decision by Cash, was that a gift to the Dodgers? Is that why they won the game, the series?
Oh. Well, it definitely was a gift to the Dodgers. It's not the only reason they won. Listen, what's getting lost here, the Rays scored 1 run. You're not going to win this game 1-0. It just wasn't going to happen. So the offense needed to be better, but that was not a self-inflicted wound. And so this is really complicated, but it's also really simple. It's complicated in this regard. It kind of almost from a philosophical standpoint. Should you ever, in the most critical moment of your season, change philosophies drastically from what got you there? The Rays have done this all year. This is how they're built. This is how the front office, what the front office believes in. That's why Kevin Cash is the manager, because he implements these things. And as Jenna mentioned, it's literally been 0 times all year that Blake Snell has pitched 6 full innings. So that's the complicated part of it. The simple part is this. The #1 rule of coaching or managing in sports at any level is before you make a major decision, have your final question you ask yourself be, what is my opponent hoping I'll do? It's 4th and inches in the 4th quarter of a football game. Do I punt? Do I go for it? Well, what does the other team's players and coaches hope I do? If they want you to punt, then you probably should go for it. In that moment, and we heard Dave Roberts tell us, but we all already knew, Wilds, in that moment, the Dodgers were praying Blake Snell be taken out, which means it is the wrong decision. And this is why, while I believe in analytics as much as anyone, this is why you don't simply have a computer spit out the lineup card and then print out something when it's time to make a pitching change. There has to be an art to go along with the science. You have to allow for some human element of feel and situation and not totally be just a slave to the data, because we all knew watching this game that the Dodgers were hoping Blake Snell would be taken out, and Wild's Kevin Cash did them a favor by taking him out.
Sure.
So this is resonating with people because it's an uninspiring move, right? So like when you saw Kirk Gibson up there hit a home run, it was an inspiring moment in sports, and this isn't. So that's why it hits an emotional chord. But Blake Snell deserves some of the blame here because Blake Snell hasn't pitched long all year. Here it is real quick, and I'll go lightning speed. Innings pitched this year. 2, 3, 3, 5, 5 2/3, 5, 5 1/3, 5 1/3, 5 1/3. Postseason, 5 2/3, 5, 5, 4, 4 2/3, and 5 1/3 last night. So when Kevin Cash comes out there and he's rolling his eyes and swearing, well, what do you expect? What have you shown me that you can go deep into a game? If that was the plan, either do two things. One, early in the year, the Rays management should know, hey, we should try out some like playoff scenarios on this random game against the Orioles. Let's try this. Let's see if he can go long. Or two, in the pregame meeting, have some ownership of your own destiny. You're a Cy Young Award winner. You're not some guy they just got out of North Carolina, first-round draft pick, Tar Heel coming in and being like, oh, my first day in the World Series. You've got some control of your destiny, so go to the manager and say, hey, I want a chance to not only win the game, I want a chance to lose the game. I want you to ride me to the bitter
Mike
end.
Messina,
and
like
Brandon, I'll show you a clip of Mike Messina yelling at Joe Torre because maybe Mike Messina, maybe it was a different era.
Right.
Mike Messina's older than Blake Snell, but he's telling Joe Torre, sit in, don't take me out. And Torre's like, okay, fine.
Stay
so
there.
I would like to see this era in baseball come back where the pitcher has some, ownership of their own destiny and how the game goes.
I agree with you, and I think Kevin Cash's decision will change baseball long term and how the managers manage their pitchers in big moments. You just pointed out there's something about big players and big moments. You don't know what it is as a coach. This reminds me of the quarterback waving off the coach when he's trying to send in the field goal kicker. No, we're staying out here. It's 4th down. You saw Jimmy Butler just in the finals, game 5, stay out there and play absurd minutes, and he was exhausted, laying on the floor in front of the world to see. So this reminds me of one of those moments where the player has to be given a chance to go get it. Joe Buck and Smoke said something last night on the broadcast was excellent. They talked about how there's so many coaches in baseball now, some managers in baseball now, looking for reasons that take out their pitchers when they really should be looking for reasons that keep them in the game.
That's good.
So for me, this is going to define how managers manage their pitchers in baseball in these big moments moving forward, because that was absolutely ridiculous. This dude was on fire.
And I can't speak to hockey because I don't know anything about it. But in the 3 sports I know something about, we are seeing a theme, which is, and I am an analytics guy, but the analytics have not solved for the delta between the regular season and the postseason. My pal Nate Silver has this very fancy NBA algorithm that gives predictions, and it is great. You can make a lot of money betting off it in the regular season. And in the playoffs, it is horrible, just laughably bad, because it can't account for LeBron and the difference in how guys play in the postseason. Last year, we were told all year, this Baltimore Ravens team, by DVOA and advanced numbers, is one of the 5 greatest teams ever. But those of us watching were like, I'm a little worried in the postseason. If they get down, can they throw? And in basketball this year with Giannis, it's 30 minutes a game. It's great. He's rested. And a lot of us said, but what about in the playoffs when he's going to have to play 42? And what the Rays did all year, Jenna, made sense for them. It worked for them. But because of the way they handled their pitchers. Wilds, go ahead. Because of the way they handled it, he's not built up for this.
I feel like we missed out on an all-time Nick Wright take, because you're the closest to the analytics community, that if Kevin Cash left Blake Snell in the game and you would come on and do the same thing that you would run off all of the innings and be like, what in the world are you doing? For 16 straight times, 4 times in the postseason, you never went this long. And then you leave him in. It's the most foolish decision. It's like doing blackjack and hitting all of a sudden. I felt like you would have lost your mind.
That's sports.
If he stayed in. So it didn't work out, but I can be argued that it's the right call.
Yeah, but that's the business. That's what we got to deal with. They got to deal with the Nick Wrights. They got to deal with the Jenna Wolfs. But you got to do things that people may not think is smart. You got to be comfortable in those uncomfortable situations. Like he should have left them in there. He should have left them in there. You even talked about Giannis, Nick.
I understand
Go back to Giannis in the Hold on, but you talked about Giannis. He averaged, 20, 30 minutes all season, and then they get in the playoffs, and they stick to it. They don't play him 40 minutes a game, and what happens? They're out of there. Same thing. It's an elimination game, closeout game.
Wilds, just to answer your point, given how they've handled Snell all year, it is a defensible play. Just like given Giannis's minutes all year, it was defensible for Budenholzer to say 36 is the ceiling. But it calls into question whether or not that approach all year will actually end up costing you at the end of the year. Whether or not you need to sacrifice some regular season success to have guys ready for the biggest postseason moments. And Jenna, analytics hasn't accounted for that yet.
Congratulations.